Imagine a 72-year-old woman, Lucille Hayes, meticulously sorting bottles and cans into a heavy-duty stroller. For many, she was just part of the city's background noise, a legally homeless woman trying to get by. But to her community, she was known for her quiet, gentle nature. She knew the streets, she knew the rules, and, most importantly, she knew to stay safe. Her routine was her lifeline. One afternoon, at the busy corner of 3rd and Elm, that routine was shattered. Officer Barry Vance, a patrolman with a reputation for wanting to clean up his beat, saw Ms. Hayes not as a person, but as a problem. He pulled his cruiser to the curb, his presence immediately casting a shadow over her day. He saw her stroller, filled with the day's hard work, and decided it was an obstruction. "Move that cart now," he barked, his voice laced with aggression. "You're a traffic hazard, Ms. Hayes." A woman who always respected the lines on the pavement replied calmly, "Sir, I'm just waiting for the light. I'm not in the way." She was standing exactly where she was supposed to be, behind the yellow textured strip that warns pedestrians of the curb. But Officer Vance wasn't interested in reality. He was operating on a different frequency, one fueled by authority and a desire to impose his will. "You're resisting a direct order," he snapped. He grabbed the stroller, yanking it violently. Instinctively, Ms. Hayes pulled back, a desperate attempt to protect the only possessions she had in the world. To Vance, this was the final provocation. This was resistance. What happened next was a blur of injustice. He used a painful wrist lock on the elderly woman, forcing her against the hot hood of his car. The cold metal of handcuffs bit into her skin. Her stroller, her livelihood, was carelessly shoved into a nearby bus shelter. The arrest was swift, brutal, and built entirely on a lie. In his official report, Officer Vance painted a fantastical picture. He wrote that Ms. Hayes, this cautious 72-year-old woman, had purposefully rolled her cart 6 feet into the active intersection during a green light. He claimed she blocked traffic for several minutes, forcing cars to swerve dangerously around her. He described it as a severe and immediate risk that required his use of force. Based on this fiction, he charged her with aggravated obstruction and resisting arrest with violence. 2 serious charges that could send her to prison. When the case landed on a public defender's desk, the story just didn't add up. Anyone who knew Lucille Hayes knew she would never, ever step into traffic. Proving it, however, seemed impossible. It was her word against a police officer's official report. A classic uphill battle. But this public defender had a revolutionary idea. Forget eyewitnesses, forget grainy surveillance cameras. They decided to look at the city itself. They decided to subpoena the street. This is where our story takes a turn into the invisible world of smart city infrastructure. The intersection of 3rd and Elm wasn't just asphalt and traffic lights. It was equipped with a smart traffic management system, or STMs. This system used a network of sensors, induction loops, and infrared beams, embedded right in the road to monitor the flow of traffic. Every 15 seconds, it logged data on traffic density, speed, and congestion. The defense team's theory was simple. If a large cart had been sitting in the middle of the road for 3 minutes, as Officer Vance claimed, the data would scream it. You'd see a dramatic drop in average speed. You'd see a spike in congestion. The system would register an anomaly, a blockage. It would be the digital equivalent of a blood clot in the city's artery. They subpoenaed the data logs for the exact time of the arrest, and what they found was stunning. The data showed the complete opposite of Vance's report. Traffic flow was smooth. Speeds were consistent. The light cycles were normal. The data stream was calm, peaceful, and utterly boring. The intersection's own digital brain was providing a rock-solid alibi. There was no obstruction. There was no chaos. There was no cart in the road. It was an alibi written in asphalt and data. But they didn't stop there. They found another digital witness. The city provided free public Wi-Fi through repeaters mounted on lampposts. Ms. Hayes, it turned out, had a cheap smartphone she used to call her grandson. Like most phones, it automatically connected to any available public network. Her public defender pulled the Wi-Fi authentication logs. The records showed that at the precise time of the arrest, the logs proved, with digital certainty, that Ms. Hayes and her phone land by extension, her cart were stationary and located exactly where she said she was. Safely on the pedestrian sidewalk, well within the Wi-Fi signal's reach and at least 6 feet away from the road. The officers claim that she was in the middle of the street was not just a mistake, it was a physical and digital impossibility. The day in court was short. The defense presented the two streams of data, the traffic flow data and the Wi-Fi logs. It was cold, impartial, and irrefutable. It wasn't testimony from a person who could be biased or have a faulty memory. It was the city's own infrastructure testifying on behalf of one of its most vulnerable residents. The judge looked at the evidence and saw the truth. He called the infrastructural data unassailable. He immediately threw out all charges against Ms. Hayes. Justice wasn't just served, it was downloaded. The fallout for Officer Vance was swift. He was placed on administrative leave and faced termination for falsifying a police report and gross misconduct. His lie, intended to justify cruelty, was exposed by the very technology designed to make his patrol area more efficient. For Ms. Hayes, the victory was life-changing. She received a formal apology from the city and a significant financial settlement. With that money, she was finally able to secure a home of her own, a small, prefabricated, accessible unit. She no longer had to navigate the streets, pushing a cart for her survival. She was safe. This case sent shockwaves through the city's legal system. It led to an internal audit of the STM's data, which confirmed its incredible accuracy and reliability. A new policy was enacted, giving public defenders the right to request these Traffic and Wi-Fi data logs in cases involving obstruction or disputes over a person's location. It's a powerful reminder that in our increasingly connected world, truth can come from the most unexpected places. Data, which we often fear for its surveillance potential, became a tool for liberation. The invisible systems that manage our daily lives, the ones that change the traffic lights and give us internet bore witness for a woman nobody else would listen to. They provided an alibi from the asphalt and delivered justice right there on the sidewalk. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as powerful as we did, please like this video and subscribe for more stories where technology and humanity collide in unexpected ways. See you next time.